Welcome back. Mental health experts and support organizations have highlighted a significant rise in holiday grief. While the season is traditionally associated with joy and togetherness, for those mourning a loss, the festive atmosphere can act as a painful magnifying glass on the absence of a loved one. According to SADAG's 2025 Festive Feelings Study, nearly half of South Africans find the period emotionally taxing, with many citing the expectation to be happy as a major driver of isolation and mental fatigue. Let's talk more about this with therapist Busisiwe Mzandolo. A very good evening to you, Busisiwe. Thank you so much for your time as we talk about a very important conversation. Tell us a little bit more about what we've dubbed as holiday grief.
Thank you so much and good evening to you, Masa. Oh my gosh. Holiday grief, I think it's one of the topics that we speak less of because we sort of afraid to be triggering people on what they're going through. And I know maybe right now we're speaking about the grief on the side of loss, maybe losing a loved one, which is the major one. There's a lot of griefs that we have. You might lose a job, you might lose a partner through divorce, you might lose money or whatever it may be. But when it comes to a festive season and you are grieving, it means this is the time for you to be celebrating. This is the time for you to be smiling, the time for you to, relax, take a break, and just look at the world and see God through it. And that time is the time where you're now grieving for someone that you've lost, and it's now limiting you to actually put yourself into that space in the atmosphere of loving and caring and rejoicing and smiling, because now you're going through the pain, you are going through memories, you are going through a lot of the grief that is happening in your family, in your friends, or just around you. So around the space of season, when it comes to grief, it's one of the things we don't speak about because it's a lot of trigger, it's a lot of trauma, and sometimes it just brings back a whole lot of other memories that you decided to let go of. And then because of one loss, you are reminded that actually, I'm left alone. I'm doing this life alone.
You mentioned something so interesting as well, that this period also it being associated with, celebration and the festive season and spending time with family and friends. But for many, this period is a dark time as well, because it's a reminder of that person that you lost, whether it's your parent or your partner, your sibling, a close friend, or even a colleague. There's this magnifying glass. For you, when you speak to people about this as well, how do you advise people who are going through this kind of grief, whether it be their first Christmas without that person that they lost this year, or it's their 10th and they're still grappling with that grief?
So I love the fact that you are saying maybe it's their first or maybe their 10th, because there's different times of grieving. And remember, we grieve forever. We can't say tomorrow it's the end, it's finished. We just learn to heal through time. So when somebody is going through that, I do something that is called salt therapy with my clients, because I love grief therapy, where we need to go down memory lane. We need to relive the life of the person. We need to face it. Most of the times we don't want to face this loss. We want to forget about it. We want to let go and move on with the times. And our healing takes a lot of time. First of all, I always say, can we create a memory, be it a good memory through the salt therapy that I will use? I'll always say, can we create a rainbow of the person's life, be it the first time you started smiling with that person, the first time you were rejoicing, the color that reminds you of the first car that they bought, or the joy in the house that they bought, or the first baby that they had, whatever good memories that you had. And then in the very same space, can we have those dark days, dark moments with this person? I used to be angry at them. I never spoke to them. I never connected with them. Create a color, bring in a color that resonates with the feeling of that moment. Now you create this nice, beautiful cylinder with different colors. And all these colors, they show different stages of love, of anger, of hurt, of hatred, of peace, of joy. But a beautiful rainbow comes out of that to show that God has given you somebody to live through different stages of life, and yet a beautiful rainbow. What does a rainbow mean? It means peace. It means it's over. It means it's done. It means it's time to let go. We all know after the stormy rain, there's a beautiful rainbow to say no more storms for the season. Same as grieving. When we're not allowing ourselves to go through the stages of understanding, can I recreate a new memory for this person? Can I actually start something that I know they would have loved and make it a new tradition? so that we'll embrace that beautiful, let's say they love creating cheesecake, my favorite, on December meal. And instead of letting go of the cheesecake and say, please don't do cheesecake because you're not going to do it the same, let's rather have a competition to say, let's see who's going to make the best cheesecake. Just to embrace that moment and that person's memory, not to delete it. Instead, let's live through it. In that way, we heal, we laugh, we still rejoice to say, oh, but we might be eating the cheesecake, but it's not the same as my mother or my grandmother or my aunt. And I think when I go back to that recipe book that people have in the stories to say my grandmother's recipe book, that's exactly what they do to relive the memory and recreate it and just embrace it instead of feeling it's a dark moment.
Yeah, and that's quite a tip that one can use as well. And you explain what you can do for yourself as well during this grieving journey. And as we know, it's not linear, as you're saying. It ebbs and flows. There are certain periods of the year, whether it's birthdays or the dates that they passed, or even, of course, the holiday period, that make it a stark reminder of that darkness or that loss as well. What can those around us do for those who are suffering from this kind of loss, whether it be your partner or your parents or your family, for those who have lost loved ones?
Let me go back a little bit. I'll go into that. You've used a beautiful word, or not a beautiful word, to say dark space. And I feel like we are making loss and grief and losing somebody as a dark space. It feels like you're in the darkness. I made an example the other day when I did a video and said, if you take a dark marker and you put it into your white t-shirt, everybody can see that there's a dark spot on your t-shirt. But when we create color and we start painting around it and create, beautiful colors, you see a rainbow, what the kids called tie-dye. And it's beautiful. And you don't see where the pain started, but you know where the pain started. But people around you don't see where the pain started. All they see is the beauty of the pain that was created. So now, as families, as friends, as people, we need not to say, I don't know what to say. You must have something to say. It's okay for you to say, are you well? It's okay for you to say, are you feeling good? Can we talk about this? How are you feeling? Can I come through, sit with you? Can I just be around you? I don't know what to say or what to do. There was a brother who lost a wife at church, and I said to him, let's have coffee. And when I really made that coffee with him and we had coffee, the whole church said, let's have coffee. But they never made the coffee. It became just a statement to say, we're going to have coffee, but you intentionally created the coffee and made sure that you just sit with me and we have coffee. And in that space, that's where I opened up to say, I feel lonely. I'm left with a son. My wife died of cancer. I don't know what to do, but you are available. So we are not all therapists. We are not all people that understands how to deal with grief and how to deal with people's emotions. But the best thing that we can do as the community, as people, is to talk about it, to say, can I come through? Can I sit next to you? Can I listen to you cry? Can you just pour out? I'm just there to just listen, nothing else, and support. But show up. Most importantly, show up for somebody who has lost a loved one. It doesn't take a lot to just show up. It doesn't take a lot to just send the message to say, I'm just checking up on you. Are you okay? Just making sure that I still love you. I still care about you. I'm here for you. Whatever you need. Doesn't take a lot. So never say that maybe a lot of people are speaking to that person, I'm going to overwhelm them. If you love that person, you're going to be intentional in sending that message that says, I got you.
Crucial indeed. And just talk to us, Busisiwe, about the importance of giving yourself time.
Very important. Very important. First of all, we need to plan our lives. I was listening to Rilebogile the other day. She said she gives herself time to cry. Because she's so busy. It's social media, it's television, it's whatever she's doing. And it's like she books herself to say, I need to take care of myself and cry. So when you're going through a lot of things, if you're distracting yourself too much of activities, you're going to feel heavy. You're going to feel like a lot is just piling up and piling up and piling up. But when you offload the washing machine and put it into the washing and wash those nice clothes, you'll know which ones are dirty and which ones are clean. And then you'll be able to say, in my dirty laundry, I know these ones are dirty, these are clean, because you're offloading. So taking time to yourself and investing in yourself. And I watched Lasizwe posting something about, I'm going to a mental institution. And I said, I love the fact that a celebrity is putting this out there. Now people will listen to us as therapists when we say it is not a taboo to book yourself in a mental institution, because you get there, phones away, your every life that you are, stressing about, it's away. It's just you and yourself and your thoughts and your emotions and your feelings, and you're connecting with you. We lose connections with the world. We lose connection with the cell phones. We lose connection with social media. We lose connections with people that think they act like they love us, but they don't. But when you take care of yourself, you get out there and you say, I'm a priority. And I want to make sure that I am okay so that I can give back to the world, not filtering my emotions. So taking that time off for yourself is very important. I encourage it to anyone. Even us as therapists, we are encouraged to book ourselves in, be it 7 days in, just chill, sit there. We go through a lot. We go through a lot. It's not just grief, it's a lot.
It's a lot. And as you mentioned when we started this conversation, it's not only death, but also the loss of, whether it's a job or a relationship or anything like that. But also the importance of reaching out for help. During this time of the year, if you look on social media, for instance, everybody's with their families. You don't seem to want to disturb everyone. Everyone seems to be at their happiest. And you may be feeling at your most vulnerable and at your most loneliest. Busisiwe, how important is it to reach out for help? And where do you reach out for this help?
So it is important to reach out for help. First of all, help is not only reached when you're going through the most. And maybe that's what we're getting wrong. We only want help when we're breaking, and then that's a quick fix. Help is a consistent relationship with somebody. If you have a consistent relationship with your therapist, it's easy for you to say, I just lost my mother. And a therapist will drop off everything, because we know at that moment, you need my words, you need my encouragement, you need me to at least say something. But when it comes right in that time, it's difficult, but there's help everywhere. As therapists, we just close probably for like 2 days or 3 weeks, if that's the longest. But if I'm closed, there's another one that's opened. There's somebody who's available. There's ASOs that are forever open. There's institutions that are forever open. There's helpline, free helpline, where you can always call if you're feeling depressed or have anxieties. Your what do they call it? The mental health anxiety call lines. Those that you can call, they are available. I just don't have the database now. But all I'm saying is, even if you Google or check, you will find a free call center just to offload. But what I'm stressing here is that may we not wait for us to break in order for us to look for help, because everybody is in a space that needs help. And sometimes people will not listen to you when you want to offload, because they also have their own things that they're holding. So we don't want to be loading cases and stresses to people that we did not build that kind of a relationship with. But there's also groups of friends and church and societies that we know we've built up, and they will understand when I'm going through this. So if I send Anel a message, if I send Zoe a message, if I send this person a message, they will be able to listen to me, because we've built that relationship throughout the year of supporting each other. What becomes difficult is that we don't build relationships that are intentional on making sure that we show up for each other on times where they are very difficult. So have a therapist. Have a therapist. You don't have to have a therapist when you are breaking through the most. Have a therapist. Speed dial.
Absolutely.
Speed dial.
Busisiwe, really appreciate your time in talking about this really important conversation this evening.